From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday graced the inaugural Philippine Strategic Trade Management or STM Summit 2024 at the Bonifacio Global City or BGC in Taguig City. The summit convenes senior-level government officials from different strategic trade agencies across the globe to discuss the latest trends, issues, and challenges surrounding STM. It covers all aspects of counter-proliferation and serves as a platform for exchanging perspectives and best practices on promoting informed compliance and enforcing STM laws. Nations participating in the event include member states from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN, the European Union or EU, as well as representatives from the United Nations and other countries from Africa and the Pacific Islands. Joining the President in the roster of notable guests as the summit officially opens are Department of Trade and Industry or DTI Acting Secretary Maria Cristina Aldeguer Roque, DTI Undersecretary Alan Gepti, United States of America Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security Ambassador Bonnie Jenkins, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Mary Kay Carlson, and Mr. Louis Pertl as head of summit. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Thank you to the Foreign Affairs Secretary, Ricky Manalo, the United States Ambassador to the Philippines, Her Excellency Mary Kay Carlson, and the esteemed members of the Diplomatic Corps here with us today, Trade and Industry Acting Secretary Maria Cristina Aldeguer Roque, and the other members of the Cabinet that are present, Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security Ambassador Bonnie Jenkins, and other officials from the U.S. government, fellow workers in government, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. For the first time, the Philippines has the honor of hosting the significant forum, the Philippine Strategic Trade Management Summit. It is for us a remarkable milestone, not only for our country, but also for the rest of the region. The Department of Trade and Industry, particularly its Strategic Trade Management Office, and our allies from the National Security Council, Strategic Trade Management Committee, and the Departments of State and Energy of the United States have led the way towards making this event possible. In the past 3 years, Southeast Asia has been hosting global discussions on export control of strategic goods, such as those used for military purposes or the production of weapons of mass destruction. This time, the STM Summit brings together not only our ASEAN neighbors, but also partners from different parts of the world, from the United States to Japan, from Europe to Africa. This demonstrates our faith in the power of collaboration to improve and secure our global supply chains, as well as to open our doors for trade to flourish, for wealth to grow, and for people to prosper. The world is growing more complex, with emerging technologies both in civilian and military fields, posing challenges in trade management. The rapid pace of advancement demands us to be more agile, more responsible, and it requires us to address both the speed and dual-use nature of these new technologies. This summit is not merely about managing trade. It is also about mitigating risks, promoting stability, and confidence in our regulatory regimes, and ensuring that the tools of our progress do not become weapons of our destruction. During my term in the Senate, I supported the Strategic Trade Management Act because it was my belief, and it continues to be my belief, that strategic trade management is more than just a bureaucratic exercise. It is about upholding the rule of law, protecting our people, and contributing to global peace and security. The Philippines' improved ranking in the latest Peddling Peril Index provides that we are on the right track in strategic trade management. However, there is much work left to be done. As the first Asian republic, the Philippines has always stood for principles over power. We were among the original framers of the United Nations Charter, and our commitment to peace and stability has been unwavering. Today, as we pursue a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council for 2027 to 2028, we are doubling down on that same commitment. 2 decades ago, when we last served in the UN Security Council, we championed a framework to address the gap in the role of non-state actors in the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. That fight continues today, and this is where the strategic trade management comes in. As a crucial tool in our endeavor to uphold global peace and security, STM allows us to regulate dual-use goods and technologies to prevent their misuse while encouraging lawful trade that benefits us all. Given the rapid pace of technological advancement, our regulation strategy should be dynamic, adaptable, forward-thinking. We must also work together to create a system that is not only robust, but is versatile, equitable, and also resilient. By leveraging our collective strengths, we can advance regional initiatives that ensure supply chain security, counter the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and insurgency, and create an environment where trade can thrive. This will be key to harnessing our collective economic prowess and sustaining our region as an epicenter of growth in this century. The Philippines, for its part, has already launched a strategic investment plan focused on developing key industries, empowering us to position ourselves better in the global market. We have developed policies that require individuals and entities engaging in STMA-covered activities to register and to receive authorization to deliver their services. We have also implemented programs to educate not only the border control and import-export officers in fulfilling their responsibilities, but also stakeholders to properly comply with our rules and our regulations. We are conducting post-authorization audits, compliance checks, and compliance consultations through monitoring and inspection activities. But the work does not end there. We will continue to upgrade industry standards, modernize regulations, and further establish linkages through various trade and investment frameworks such as the ASEAN, Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, Regional Cooperation Economic Partnership, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. All these so that we can see a more competitive region in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, one country cannot do this alone. Each of us, no matter the race, the color, or belief, has a clear stake in building a more secure and prosperous world. Let this occasion be a reminder to renew important conversations and to reinforce our commitment to creating what we refer to as Bagong Pilipinas, that is not only safe and secure, but filled with promising opportunities for all. I thank you all for your participation, and I look forward to the important outputs that this conference will bring.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday hailed the Philippine National Police or PNP for the apprehension of Kingdom of Jesus Christ or KOJC founder Apollo Kibuloy, calling the successful operation as police work at its best. In a media interview, the president said Kibuloy turned himself in to authorities Sunday evening due to continued pressure by law enforcers during the police operation. The chief executive also explained the presence of soldiers in Kibuloy's apprehension, saying that the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP has been tapped to serve as an augmentation force and was actually requested by Kibuloy's camp. President Marcos said he was glad that the hunt for Kibuloy is over and the wheels of justice can now take its course. The Philippine president assured of transparent and lawful due process and that no special treatment would be given to the evangelist. Let us listen to the statement of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Well, the extradition request is not just there. Besides, the judicial processes that Apollo Kibuloy is going to have to go through now, locally, still have to be done. Because what has been done is that we have implemented and enforced an arrest warrant that was issued by the court. And therefore, it is now within the court's hands. Wala na sa executive ito. Kami sa executive, ang ginawa lang namin, in-implement lang namin, in-enforce lang namin ang order ng court. So that is the situation now. We will have to look at that. But for the moment, hindi extradition ang tinitignan natin. Ang tinitignan natin ay yung mga kaso na mga complaint na pinila dito sa Pilipinas. At yun muna ang kailangan niyang harapin. Well, ganyan naman talaga. Madalas naman mangyari yan na may augmentation sa AFP. But let's be very clear. This was a police-led operation. It was a police operation. Kung ano man ang involvement ng AFP dyan ay, as I said, augmentation. As you can imagine, all through these past months now, all the intelligence services were involved, both in the police, both in the AFP, even our civilian intelligence services. Kasama lahat yan para malaman natin ano yung dapat natin gawin and what are the movements that can be attributed to Apollo Kibuloy, Mr. Kibuloy. At yan ang kaya naman may augmentation. Kung maalala ninyo, nung una silang pumasok, after 24 hours, 36 hours, hapong-hapo na yung mga pulis. So, ang ginawa namin, para marelyebo naman sila ng konti, ay nagpadala kami ng sundalo na AFP. That was about 2.5 weeks ago. Nagpadala tayo ng AFP para mag-augment, makapagpahinga naman yung mga pulis natin. But eventually, when that was okay, nung pwede na naman yung pulis natin, winidraw na naman natin yung AFP at ang pulis na naman ang nag-frontline. So that's a standard procedure dito sa Pilipinas. Madalas naman talaga natin ginagawa yan. Well, I think what you all want to know, and let me take you through the timeline already, what happened here. Over the last 2-3 weeks, we have been getting messages and feelers. Alam niyo naman to, yung mga sinasabi magsusurrender si Mr. Kibuloy basta meron sa mga condition na kung ano-ano na sinasabi na kailangan may promise na hindi siya papadala sa Amerika, na hindi at kung ano-ano pa. At alam naman ninyo, hindi naman natuloy yun dahil hindi naman maaari na yung fugitive ang nagsasabi ko ano yung mga kondisyon na sa pag-aresto sa kanya. Kaya walang nangyari doon. Patuloy, ngunit patuloy. Meron tayong mga feelers na nakukuha. At we were very clear to his people, his lawyers specifically, na hindi maaari na may conditions na mayroon siyang ilalagay. At lagi namin sinasabi, basta patuloy lang ang aming gagawin. You have to decide what you want to do, but we cannot. We are ordered by the court to enforce this order, and that's what we are going to do. And the putting of conditions is not an option for somebody who is actually a fugitive. So this went on back and forth for the last 2-3 weeks. On yesterday, about between 8 and 9 in the morning, we got another message from our contacts na sinasabi, handa na raw siya mag-surrender. Sinabi, very good. Wala ng conditions. Wala na yung mga conditions na dating ilinalagay. So, sabi namin, fine. Pero sabi niya, sana may presence ng AFP dahil wala daw siyang tiwala sa police. So, fine. Yun ang ginawa namin. So, that was around, na-decide na, sabi ko, by 9 o'clock, I cannot remember the precise time, but by 9 o'clock yesterday, in the morning, I was able to say, sige, tuloy nyo na. Agree to that scenario. So, and that was it. So, tuloy-tuloy ng pag-uusap. How do we do it? Where is this? Where? By at 3:40 in the afternoon of yesterday, lumipad na yung C-130 papuntang Davao para susunduin na siya. And that is exactly what happened. Pagbaba ng C-130 sa Davao Airport, pinuntahan na nila ang compound at natuloy na yung kanyang pag-exchange. Dinala siya, sinakay siya sa C-130 para dalhin dito sa Maynila dahil kailangan ang unang naging kaso niya ay Pasig. So, doon muna siya haharap. And that's essentially the timeline of what happened yesterday. The events after things that were not really moving, kung hindi dun sa atin, yun na nga, pinasok na yung ng pulis yung compound. Naghuhukay nga tayo dahil na ang intelligence natin ay sinasabi talagang nandoon siya at patuloy yung aming operation. So that is that as I think what convinced Mr. Kibuloy wala na, useless na magtago siya na dapat lumabas na siya. And so, well, I'm happy that I'm glad that this is over. We can now resolve and look at the allegations that have been made against him. We have to, I have to commend our PNP. This is police work at its best. This is what the PNP can do pag led well at maganda ang ating pagkakaunawa at pag-coordinate sa iba't ibang ahensya. But this is what policemen do. They go after and enforce court orders and go after those who have had cases filed against them. At nakita natin, desidido ang ating mga pulis at ang instruction ko sa kanila, etong last time, sinabi ko, pagpasok natin, huwag na kayong aalis dyan hanggat makuha na ninyo siya. And that's exactly what they did. Nakita niyo naman, we had to engage so many parts of the agencies, mga technical, yung mga intelligence services, lahat, kasama lahat yan. But it was, in the end, it was a police action that brought Apollo Kibuloy to the arms of the law. The question that is being asked constantly, kagabi pa hanggang ngayon, nag-surrender ba o nahuli? I think that's a legal question, pero ganitong iniisip ko, hindi siya lilitaw kung hindi namin hinabol ng gusto. Ang pagkaintindi ko, ang pag-surrender, pag sinabing surrender, I don't know, maybe the legalists can explain this. Pero ngunit ang pagkaintindi ko, ang surrender, kapag wanted ka, ang surrender, pupunta ka sa police station o sa, ewan ko, sa prosecutor, I don't know kung saan. Sabihin, ito an official authority, sasabihin, nagsusurrender na ako. Alam ko may court order na, may arrest order na ako, kaya magsusurrender na ako. Hindi ganyan yung nangyari. Ang nangyari, napilitan siyang lumabas dahil malapit na ang pulis sa kanya. To his credit, ang sabi niya, yung mga follower niya, magpapakamatay para sa kanya. At ayaw niyang mangyari yun. So to his credit, he was still displaying a modicum of leadership to his follower. Kaya naman, again, I will stress, it was a very, involved police action, augmented, of course, by the AFP, augmented by the civilian arms of government. It was, once again, it was really through the efforts of what our policemen did. And once again, I stress that kung merong mang nasaktan, ay may galos lamang, may sugat lamang. No major injuries were, sige, sa tulukan, sa girian. Ngunit wala namang nasaktan wala namang namatay, walang nabaril. Dahil walang ulitin ko. Lahat ng pumasok sa KOJC compound, lahat ng tao natin, ni isa doon ay may dalang baril. Wala sa kanilang may dalang baril. Dahil hindi mo na malaman kung may dalang baril, iba yung nagiging usapan. Ang instruction ko sa kanila. Wala akong gusto masaktan. Hindi ko naman gustong saktan yung mga member ng KOJC. Dahil tinutulungan lang nila yung kanilang sinusundan na leader. Okay, ba't natin sila sasaktan? Ba't pa tayo magdadala ng baril? So, ganun na lang. And so, again, this is how it should be done. You can't do this without hurting anyone. You can't do this without shooting anyone. That is what police work is meant to be. And this is police work at its best. Kaya congratulations sa lahat ng ating mga kapulisan, yung na-involved, yung behind the scenes na na-involved. Ang ating Chief PNP ay talagang all the time, araw-araw nagre-report sa akin, sometimes 2-3 times a day, kung ano yung mga pangyayari doon sa Davao. So, it is really with some relief that I can say that at least this phase of that operation is now over, and we now leave Mr. Kibuloy to the judiciary, to the judicial system. And siyempre, babantayan natin na tama naman ang mangyayari na lahat ng kanyang karapatan, walang nasasagasaan sa karapatan niya, wala namang ibabaliwala sa kanyang kahilingan, kung ano man yun. But again, there is no special treatment. Although he's a very prominent person, we actually, hindi na, kung kahit mas may magsabi na gawin natin special treatment, hindi namin alam gawin yun. We don't know what special treatment is. So we will treat him like any other arrested person, and we'll respect his rights, and we will go through the process. The process will be transparent. Everyone who is involved will be accountable, and we will demonstrate once again to the world that our judicial system in the Philippines is active, is vibrant, and is working well.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday directed the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, to prioritize establishing connectivity in remote and isolated areas across the country. The President issued the directive during the sectoral meeting on the National Digital Connectivity Plan, or NDCP 2024 to 2028 in Malacañang, where the DICT presented its connectivity proposals. The chief executive suggested rolling out the connectivity program in areas where the government can provide free Wi-Fi. To ensure a market for telecommunications companies, President Marcos said the government could help by providing connections to government facilities. Once the budget is approved, the NDCP will serve as the country's strategic blueprint to bring universal and digital connectivity nationwide and serve as a linchpin in creating a digital Philippines. President Marcos recently approved the $288 million Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project, which according to DICT seeks to complete the national fiber backbone and bring high-speed internet connection even in disadvantaged areas. To be financed through Official Development Assistance or ODA from the World Bank, the project is a flagship initiative of the DICT and involves the construction of a public broadband infrastructure network. In July, the DICT reported 13,462 free Wi-Fi sites in 1,401 cities and municipalities nationwide, including 3,040 geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas or GIDAs. It added that some 9.8 million Filipinos have benefited from the DICT's free public internet program. Enacted in 2017, Republic Act or RA 10929 or the Free Internet Access Program in public places requires public places like hospitals, transport terminals, and government offices to provide free internet access.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday administered the oath of office to the new officials of the Commission on Higher Education or CHED in a ceremony in Malacañang Palace. Among those that took their oath is newly installed CHED Commissioner Dr. Shirley Agrupis and the agency's new directors, namely Dr. Jimmy Catanes, Dr. Mary Silvette Gunigundo, Dr. Laura Yusi, Ms. Aline Magalong, Attorney Marco Cicero Domingo, and Mr. Rody Garcia. In a social media post, the President said, "Education is the foundation of a strong and prosperous nation." The Chief Executive added that with their leadership, we can ensure that every Filipino, from the most remote communities to urban centers, has access to quality education. Prior to her appointment to CHED, Dr. Agrupis served in various positions at the Mariano Marcos State University or MMSU, including Director for External Affairs and Partnerships. She is also a graduate of MMSU, where she earned her Bachelor's of Science in Biology degree. Agrupis holds a Master's of Science degree on Plant Morphoanatomy and Physiology from the University of the Philippines and Doctor's degree of Philosophy on Agricultural Science from Shizuoka University in Japan.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday led the turnover of 129 patient transport vehicles or PTVs to local government units or LGUs in a ceremony at the Quirino Grandstand in the city of Manila. Spearheaded by the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO, this initiative aims to enhance medical response capabilities, particularly in identified vulnerable and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas or GIDAs. The Medical Transport Vehicle or MTV donation program aims to deliver PTVs, Type 2 Advanced Life Support Ambulances, and C ambulances, which are crucial for the swift transportation of patients to hospitals, especially in underserved regions. Over 200 LGUs have benefited from similar programs, with plans to procure more vehicles to ensure each municipality has adequate resources since the President assumed office in 2022. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It is always a good day when we come together for the purpose of improving the welfare of ordinary Filipinos. I lead today the turnover of these patient transport vehicles to our 129 LGU's beneficiaries. A key initiative of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, the Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program builds on our thrust to improve healthcare access and provide swift medical intervention, especially in vulnerable communities and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. The Philippines is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire and therefore is in the pathway of some of these volcanic activity, also in the way of the storms, encountering an average of 20 tropical cyclones every year. These past weeks, we have already witnessed heavy rainfall caused by typhoons enhanced by monsoon rains. So that while we try to weather these storms, it is crucial we always prepare for the hazards and the potential disasters that come with it. That level of preparedness is the primary matter that brings us together this morning. The Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program aims to deliver Type 2 Advanced Life Support Ambulances, PTVs, C ambulances, particularly to underserved regions. Specifically, we will be giving these PTVs to provincial, city, and municipal governments to help ensure that their constituencies will be given the chance to pull through whenever they need these assets for the rescue, for the healthcare of those who have become victims to these natural calamities. These vehicles are vital resources to support our heroes in the medical field, our first responders. Kasama dyan siyempre yung ating mga healthcare workers, ngunit ay nanguna dyan talaga ang mga LGU. They will provide timely medical intervention by transporting patients to hospitals. Many times, these vehicles make the difference between life and death. Although we all share the same hope that none of us nor our loved ones should ever be in need of an ambulance, we welcome and greatly desire their presence in our communities. My heartfelt gratitude goes to PCSO for embarking on this endeavor. Since our first day in office, over 200 LGUs have now benefited from this program. I was also informed that you are set to procure even more PTVs to ensure that every single municipality in the Philippines will be equipped with 2 vehicles each. It is a vision worth every ounce of effort, so I enjoin each of you to stand firm, to press on, until we turn this aspiration that we have into reality, and we certainly can do it. While we still face numerous challenges in our healthcare system, this program aids us in elevating the quality of healthcare in the country. No matter how many hospitals and health centers we build, no matter how many medical health professionals we employ, and no matter how much equipment we acquire, it would all be devoid of meaning and purpose if patients cannot reach them in moments of need. I reiterate that the most effective and life-changing impact can only happen when we genuinely put the welfare of our fellow Filipinos on the top of our priorities. I expect that every LGU beneficiary will use these vehicles responsibly and efficiently, and urge the PCSO, the LGUs, other agencies to continue creating programs and projects that will bring life and security to everyone. I am confident that we can build a bagong Pilipinas where no Filipino will be left behind. be it in healthcare or in any other opportunity to live meaningful, prosperous, and healthy life. It is what our people need. It is what Filipinos truly deserve. And what you see here are 129 of the present 300 vehicles that are now with the PCSO. Wala pang kalahati ito doon sa na-deliver na ng PCSO sa iba't ibang bayan sa buong Pilipinas. At pinapangako sa atin ni GM Mel na magkakaroon ng 1,000 pa. Lahat-lahat ay 1,000 para lahat nga ng bayan, lahat ng lungsod, lahat ng probinsya ay magkakaroon nitong ating ambulansya or patient transport vehicles na ginagamit. Ang instruction ko talaga, nung kami bagong upo, ang instruction ko talaga kay GML, ay sabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, pagka pinag-uusapan ng ambulansya, healthcare na yan, buhay na ng tao yan. Dapat wag nang pinupolitika yan. Dahil alam ko naman ang sistema na nung gobernur ako, kung malakas ka, makakakuha ka ng ambulance. Kung hindi ka malakas, ay mababa ka sa listahan. Kaya ko hindi naman dapat pinupolitika ang healthcare system natin. Kaya siguro ay ang malaking pagbabago rito ay hindi na kayo pupunta sa PCSO o sa akin o sa governor ninyo o kung kanino, senador na kaibigan nyo, congressman nyo, pakiusap naman, wala kaming ambulance. Antayin na lang ninyo na may ambulansyang darating sa inyo. Hindi nyo na kailangan. Dahil nga, paulit-ulit ko naman nasabi ito. Galing naman talaga ako sa LGU. Kaya naintindihan ko ang... itong pagpili nitong modelo na ito na ambulansya ay talagang iniisip namin na mabuti. Meron talagang maganda na malalaki, na mamahalin at halos ospital na ang laman ng ambulansya. Ngunit hindi practical dun sa mga maliliit na bayan. Dahil na-experience namin ito na meron kaming napaka-denonate na ang mga nurse at saka doktor na Ilocano sa California. Nag-donate sila ng 2 malaking ganda-ganda na ambulansya. Nung mag-emergency, hindi makapasok doon sa maliliit. At ang ginagawa, sinasakay namin yung pasyente sa tricycle bago ilalabas para isakay ulit sa ambulansya. Kaya ito ay bagay na bagay sa Pilipinas ito. Madaling ayusin kahit yung mga mekaniko sa probinsya na sanay ito dahil maraming pyesa, madaling ayusin ito. Kaya practical ang ating pagpili itong modelo na ito. Kaya yan ang ating hangarin na talaga naman ay maramdaman ng taong bayan na kahit papaano, sana nga hindi mangangailangan ng itong mga ambulansya. Ngunit kung dumating ang araw na may pangangailangan sila ng ambulansya, nandyan at meron magamit at gumagana. Kasi nga, yung mga iba, napakaganda nga, mga 6 na buwan lang, after 6 months, hindi na tumatakbo. Dahil walang pyesa, hindi natin alam ayusin. Ito, simple lang at practical para sa ating mga LGU. So that is what we are doing today. And that is why I'm very, very happy because it is a true service to the people. It is removed from political color. It is removed from all of these political forces, which unfortunately we all know was the way it was conducted before. So palitan na natin yan at tingnan natin lang, hindi na kung sino ang mga magkakampi, kung sino mga kaalyado, kalimutan na muna natin yan. Asikasuhin muna natin ang taong bayan.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday visited the Philippine Children's Medical Center or PCMC in Quezon City as the nation observes the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Recognized every September by childhood cancer organizations around the world, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month aims to increase awareness and raise funds for those affected by childhood cancer. During the program, the President turned over a check donation amounting to 150 million pesos for the hospital. President Marcos also conducted a tour and inspection of its facilities and equipment together with Department of Health or DOH Secretary Chodoro Herbosa and PCMC Executive Director Dr. Sonia Gonzalez. The PCMC is one of the national centers for specialized healthcare under the DOH that provides pediatric care, offers training programs for medical and allied healthcare providers, and is a center in clinical research. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
To be here at the Philippine Children's Medical Center, I am reminded that in a world characterized by power and strength, children teach us what true strength looks like. We come here thinking that we need to be strong for them, but in reality, it is their strength that lifts us. It is their laughter, despite the pain. It is the courage that reminds us what it means to be human. Here at the PCMC, those small frames and brave hearts show us that resilience is not about being unbreakable, but about bending without breaking, about getting back up when you fall. This place, formerly called Lungsod ng Kabataan, was born out of my parents' love for children and from their belief that children are this nation's greatest treasure. And I think, especially in the Filipino culture, that is certainly the case, not only with my parents, not only with the healthcare workers, but with every single family. After all, I think that all of us are unanimous in saying ang pinakamamahal natin sa buhay ang ating mga anak. So when my parents established this institution, they understood that the future of our country rests on those whose innocence remain pure, despite the adversities that they face. That they knew that our children's welfare is the country's well-being. They built this sanctuary not just for treatment, but for hope, that every child, despite whatever diseases they are suffering from, can grow up to their full potential. 44 years later, the PCMC remains true to that mission and continues to improve the quality of care and attention that it provides. The reduction in treatment abandonment and the strengthened medical assistance for indigent patients are testaments to the dedication of all of you that work here. While we have made great strides in children cancer care, we must also acknowledge that there is still a great deal that we need to do. To our little warriors and their families, you're not alone in this fight. Di po kayo, kami ay nandito po, kasama ninyo at kabalikat ninyo sa nagagawin ng lahat upang tulungan ang inyong mga anak na maging malusog at maging malakas. We stand with you, ensuring that quality health care, early diagnosis, necessary treatments, and medical assistance for indigent and financially incapacitated patients are accessible to you and to all. The PCMC Legacy Tower, with its advanced capabilities for specialty care, shall be a beacon of hope for generations of children to come. The newly installed diagnostic imaging machines, the 3 Tesla MRI, the 128 slice CT scan, and the dynamic DER X-ray machine. They're not just shiny new machines, new technologies. They are lifelines. They allow us to diagnose more quickly, treat more effectively, and give every child a fighting chance. As early cancer diagnosis and prevention of treatment delays can significantly improve the quality of life for children with cancer, a precise diagnosis is crucial. That is why an additional 150 million shall be given by the Office of the President, which we just handed over, to the PCMC for further equipment upgrading. But beyond the new building and these new machines, it is the human spirit that will ultimately make the difference. The spirit that says that we will not give up. We will keep fighting no matter how hard the battle. That is why I thank the men, women of PCMC. Those of you in your white lab coats who bear the invisible battle scars within you, and those who simply wear a smile and assist in whatever way they can to make these children's lives a little better, for remaining committed to the fight against children's cancer. Your dedication is felt far beyond the halls of PCMC. Every patient, you are there making a difference. You remind us that quiet work carries the greatest impact, and that true strength is not about winning the fight, but about never giving up. If there is one thing I believe with all my heart, it is this. As long as places like this stand and people like you continue to give all that you can, hope will never run dry. It will shine through every day, every struggle, every challenge. Every child who battles cancer, every family that stands with them, teaches us a powerful lesson that life, no matter how fragile, is always worth fighting for. In every small voice that I have heard today, in every brave smile that has crossed my path, I have seen a glimpse of that extraordinary courage that can move nations. Sa lahat ng mga narito, lalo na sa mga pasyente at kanilang mga pamilya, maraming salamat po sa pagpapaalala sa amin na minsan ang mga pinakamahihinang tinig ang nagpapamala sa atin ng matinding kalakasan. Na minsan, ang tanging kailangan natin ay tunay na pagmamahal at matibay na kalooban upang magpatuloy sa kabila ng lahat. Maraming salamat sa inspirasyon. At sama-sama natin buuhin ang isang mas malusog, matatag at maginhawang bagong Pilipinas para sa lahat. Mabuhay ang ating mga kabataan, mabuhay ang mga bayani ng Philippine Children's Medical Center.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday donated around 519.7 million pesos to specialty hospitals, Philippine Heart Center or PHC, the National Kidney Transplant Institute or NKTI, and the Lung Center of the Philippines or LCP in an effort to provide quality health services to the Filipino people. During the inauguration of the Bagong Urgent Care and Ambulatory Service or BUCA Center at the PHC in Quezon, the President handed over the check worth 200.5 million pesos to the PHC, 185.2 million pesos to the LCP, and 134 million pesos to the NKTI. The chief executive expressed optimism that the three specialty hospitals would continue seeking innovative medical services and pursuing projects that reflect both their passion and compassion for Filipinos. President Marcos also lauded the PHC's education, training, and research simulation facility, which mimics realistic clinical scenarios for teaching and learning. The PHC facility, which is a first in the country, would provide better training for Filipino healthcare workers. President Marcos Jr. assured the PHC, NKTI, and LCP of his administration's continued support as they continue to care for Filipinos who are in need. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Let me first start by thanking everyone for taking time to witness today's activities. Because speaking of time, it's perplexing that whenever we wish for a moment to linger, time slips through our fingers. Where does the time go? And yet we long for something to end. Time slows to a crawl. So today, as we open the doors of Bagong Urgent Care and Ambulatory Service Center, or BUCAS, we are not just inaugurating a new building. We are transforming how we handle critical moments when time is both our greatest enemy and our most valuable ally. This center is not just a health facility. It aims to bridge the gap between primary care facilities and higher-level health institutions by providing urgent healthcare services for minor surgeries and other ancillary services. This ensures that focus shall be given to patients needing special care, while still providing proper medical services for those with less complicated cases. Because our health cannot wait, these services will be provided throughout the week, including weekends, and I heard a rumor that in some areas, ginawa ng 24 hours ang ating bukas centers. So when you or your loved ones come through these doors, you will find not just a place of care, but a place of immediate compassionate support. The Philippine Heart Center, or PHC, has long been a symbol of hope and excellence in healthcare. Established in 1975 under Presidential Decree number 673, it was my father's vision to create a place where top-notch medical care was delivered with dignity and with compassion. It was my mother's driving force behind the specialty centers in the country. For years, the PHC has remained steadfast in its commitment to save lives and alleviate the suffering of those with cardiovascular diseases. Today, we honor that vision as we expand it. With 31 Bukas centers nationwide as of September this year, we are not just keeping that promise within the walls of one building, but we are spreading it to various places around the country. We are ready to respond, ready to care wherever and whenever needed. For these are more than just about the numbers of centers. It is all the amount of funding. It is about replacing uncertainty and worry with a sense of reassurance that help is close by. It is about the lives that we change and the hope that we restore. This network of care assures every Filipino, whether in the heart of the city or in the most remote province, that they are seen, valued, and cared for. This administration envisions a future where every Filipino, no matter where they live, has access to the urgent care that they need. A future where our healthcare system is proactive, not just reactive. That future was made more possible by the PHC's Education, Training, and Research Simulation Facility, which is a first in the Philippines. It mimics realistic clinical scenarios for teaching and learning, allowing for better training for our healthcare workers. So despite the challenges, you continue to persevere and to innovate, showing both passion and compassion. This is the reason why we granted the PHC 200.5 million pesos that it can use to fund more projects that will benefit the Filipino people. In the same vein, we also granted 185.2 million pesos to the Lung Center of the Philippines and 134 million pesos to the NKTI. These grants aim to further the excellence in disease prevention, diagnostics, and treatments. That is the record of those specialty hospitals. Today, we provide Filipinos with hope. Hope that medical care is within their grasp because of what we have built here in what we come to call the Bagong Pilipinas. Let us carry with us the understanding that our actions today will have a lasting impact. It will, in ways that we may never see. Lives will be changed because of what we have done. Congratulations for all the very important work that you have done. And I know that it is your greatest satisfaction to see that we are able to continue to care for our people and they are in need. You may always count on this administration to do everything that we possibly can to make these aspirations of ours come true.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday paid tribute to the memory of his father, the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Marcos Monument in Batak City, Ilocos Norte Province. Prior to the ceremony, the President and the First Family attended a Thanksgiving Mass at the Immaculate Conception Parish, Batak. Following the wreath-laying program, President Marcos Jr. joined the participants of the Natnating Cook-Off Showdown, a culinary event that showcases various signature vegetables dishes in the province of Ilocos Norte as part of the Marcos Day celebration. The day's event marked the 107th birth anniversary of Apo Lakay, which honors the life and legacy of the 10th President of the Philippines. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
I always look forward to coming to Ilocos Norte, not only because it is really our home, but also in this special occasion when we commemorate the Marcos Day, which is the day of my father's birthday. And as we have seen, it is his 107th birthday. So it is inevitable when we celebrate his life and we look back and we try to find, I try to find and try to think, what was it about my father? Ano ba talaga? What was his very important quality that brought him to the greatest heights of political office in the Philippines, but even more importantly, to have allowed him to, that made him, that guided him, so that he could serve the people properly. And I am always reminded of what was engraved in the mausoleum when my father was still buried here. And those of you that have been to the mausoleum will remember that it was one single word, Filipino. And that is the essence of my father. And when I look back, and now that I am in this high office, and many things many forces are impacting upon you, and a decision has to be made. And the guidance that I get, once again, is I always ask myself, what would my father do? What would be his advice? And I remember the mausoleum, and I remember that it says Filipino. And that is the essence of the man. He was a Filipino. He was an Ilocano first, but his whole life was dedicated to the Filipino. His whole life was dedicated to the Philippines. During his first foray into public service after his university and his law school was as a soldier during the war, where he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to defend his country and his people. And we have seen and heard and read about the heroic deeds that are only now being realized by many of us. I will recount to you an experience that I had recently when I was in the United States. And I was hosted by the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. At ang request ko sa kanila, can I see some of the records about my father when he was working with the OSS. The OSS was a predecessor of the CIA. And they allowed me. They took me to the records room and they started to show me many of the records, the reports that were given during the war that are still secret. And I mean, he was greater than even we realized. The things that he did, the things that, the sacrifices that he made for the Philippines. And I asked the CIA, maaari ba, pakopya ko, iuwi ko. Sorry, it is still classified. And that was the depth of his service to the country. After the war, after liberation, he then entered into politics. He became the second district representative of Ilocos Norte, and he served for about 10 years before becoming senator and ultimately president. And through that whole time, all that he did was to serve Filipinos. He sacrificed everything. Those of us who are with his family know of that sacrifice. And we, in our own way, were feeling that we also sacrificed because we did not see my father. We did not see my mother. They were very busy doing their work and serving the Philippines and serving Filipinos. And so when I look back now at the life that I have led, and I see what is the guiding principle that I can learn from my father. When things are confusing, when things have become so complex, what is the essence of service that my father taught me? And that is very simple, but not easy to achieve. But it is simple. Be a Filipino, serve the Filipino, protect Filipinos and the Philippines. And from that comes all of the important things that we can do. That guides us, that is the guiding principle. So, although he was always described, especially in his younger days, as the GI, the Great Ilocano, he superseded that. And of course, he loved Ilocos, he loved Batak, he loved Sarat, he loved all of you who were with him through all of the trials and tribulations that he went through. But then I suppose he saw the essence as well of Ilocanos. We are essentially, because we are Ilocanos, but we are here in the Philippines. And the greatest service that he could do was to serve the entire country of the Philippines. So if we are to continue on this important legacy that he has left us, what again will be our guide? How again do we know what is the right path to make it better for the Philippines, to make life better for all Filipinos, to make sure that the Philippines is protected, that the Philippines is secure, that the Philippines is going to flourish, that the Philippines takes its place in the community of nations in the world. And I have followed that credo from the very beginning of my term, and I will continue to follow that credo. Be a good Filipino. Be a Filipino that loves your countrymen. Be a Filipino that loves your country, and do everything and sacrifice everything to achieve that purpose, to achieve that goal, that you become a good Filipino and you leave the Philippines a better place than you found it. That is my continuing guide. That is the credo that we should live by. And for that, I will be eternally grateful to my dad for the lessons that he taught us, for the values that he imbued in our very souls. And that has served us all well. And so as we go through our daily lives, let us always remember that in the end, we do what we do. All that we do for Filipinos. All that we do for the Philippines. Let us be together in that. Let us continue that legacy of love of country. Let's continue that legacy of love of your kababayans. And I think that if we do that, that we will always be led in the right direction.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday led the distribution of assistance amounting to 157.95 million pesos to farmers, fisherfolk, and livestock raisers at the Mariano Marcos State University or MMSU in Batak City, Ilocos Norte Province. During the ceremonial distribution of assistance, The President turned over the agricultural equipment and machinery to the representatives of different Farmers Association beneficiaries in Ilocos Norte. President Marcos also distributed units of agri-fishery machinery, seeds, fertilizers, fishery paraphernalia, fuel subsidies, and solar-powered irrigation systems to farmers, fisherfolk, and livestock raisers. In his speech, the chief executive said, the purpose of these equipment and inputs is to increase their production and help them recover from the impact of the past calamities. Around 99.88 million pesos of the 157.95 million pesos worth of agricultural, fishery, and veterinary interventions came from the Department of Agriculture or DA, while the remaining 58.07 million pesos was provided by the provincial government of Ilocos Norte. President Marcos said his administration is committed to providing continued assistance to Filipino farmers, fisherfolk, and livestock raisers. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Kinagagalak ko na personal na makabalik habang tayo ay nagse-celebrate ng birthday ng aking ama, ang dating Pangulong Ferdinand Edralin Marcos. Ngayon nag-senior na. At habang mayroon tayong selebrasyon ay hindi po natin nakakalimutan. At dagiti manalon ken mangalap tayo. We have nakakadaan lang natin sa napakahirap na panahon na 6 na buwan tayo walang nakitang ulan. Kahit kaya't ang daming mahirapan, ang daming nasira, at kaya't maraming nangangailangan na ating mga farmer at saka fishermen, ay marami silang pangangailangan. At kaya kami nagdala ng karagdagan tulong para sa mga magsasaka, sa mga isda, at sa mga nag-aalaga ng hayop. Layunin ng mga kagamitan at input na ito, mas maging mas mataas ang inyong produksyon at matulungan na makabangon tayo mula sa epekto ng nagdadaang kalamidad. Kabilang po sa aming ipapamahagi ngayong araw, mga seed, mga traktor, fertilizer, fishery paraphernalia, fuel subsidy, and solar-powered irrigation system. Alam niyo po, ito yung mga ating ginagawa ngayon, yung solar-powered. Mabuti na ngayon at may solar-powered irrigation system na. Hindi na kailangan magbigay ng subsidy, ng tulong para sa gasolina, sa crudo, dahil, at hindi na kailangan i-maintain yung motor dahil kumukuha tayo ng kuryente galing sa araw at kahit saan pwedeng ilagay. Hindi mo nang pwede pang ilipat kung kailangan ilipat para sa ating irigasyon, para sa patubig natin. At yan ang at alam naman natin yan ang pinaka-importante. Marami po mga bagong teknolohiya ang nakikita natin dito. Ang mga tulong na ito ay bahagi lamang ng mas malaking hangarin natin na para sa lahat, na isang pagkilala sa sipag at sakripisyo na binubuhos ninyo sa Ilocos at para sa buong bansa. Every step that we take, it comes under the unity that we have forged between the different agencies of our government. Lahat po ay magkasama. At hindi lang mga DA, kasama rin dyan po yung mga DOLE, kasama rin dyan yung BIFAR, kasama dyan ang DILG. Lahat po tayo, lahat po kami sa pamahalaan ay nagkakaisa para mabigyan ng tulong ang ating mga magsasaka at ang ating mga mangingisda. At mabigyan din ng pagkakataon yung mga iba ay magsimula ng kanilang sideline para pagka marami ang produksyon, kailangan matutunan na natin ang processing. At yung nakita natin kanina doon sa Imelda Cultural Center sa Batak, sa poblasyon, Yun ang mga nakikita natin na natututo na tayo na mag-process ng ating mga produkto. Dahil napakaganda ang performance ng ating mga magsasaka, kaya ang nangyari dyan ay sobra-sobra na ang ating produksyon hanggat tinamaan tayo ng El Nino. Ngunit makakabalik tayo at para maging mas maganda ang produkto ninyo para maibigay na natin lahat at ma-process natin lahat. Mas mataas ang value added, mas malaki po ang kita. At pagka nangyari yun, mas gaganda ang paghahanap buhay ninyo.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday led the distribution of Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program or AKAP at the Ilocos Norte Centennial Arena in Lawag City. The initiative aims to benefit 9,500 recipients from the 1st District of Ilocos Norte. Specifically, AKAP provides crucial financial assistance to low-income families and individuals, helping them meet essential needs and improve their quality of life. Furthermore, the distribution coincides with the 107th birth anniversary of former President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., marking a significant occasion in the region's history. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Pinaka-importante, pinakamahalaga, ito po, 5,000 nga benepisyaryo para sa AKAP payout na ating ginagawa. Kasama po ito. Alam niyo po, kaya namin ginagawa ito at ginawa namin dito sa Ilocos Norte, ginagawa po natin ito dahil kinikilala ng inyong national government na sa nakaraang 6 na buwan ay marami pong nangyari sa ekonomiya natin. Dumaan po tayo sa El Nino at daming nagtataasan ang presyo. Lahat po yan ay ang naging dahilan ay talagang magulo ang mundo ngayon. Kaya hindi natin malaman kung ano ang susunod na krisis na dadating at babaguhin na naman lahat. Kaya nandito naman ang inyong pamahalaan. We are here to continue to support and bring whatever help we can, kung ano man may tulong namin para sa mga nangangailangan. At ito po, kaya po, kayo mga benepisyaryo, at alam po namin na napakahirap ang inyong dinadaanan, kaya sa palagay ko, kahit papano ang ating gobyerno ay nagsama-sama lahat. Ang marami pong ganyan, may AKAP payout, DSW dito, ngunit meron pong ibang mga benepisyo na manggagaling sa mga iba't ibang ahensya, iba't ibang departamento ng ating pamahalaan. At yan po ang patuloy na aming pag-monitor sa kung paano na, anong pangangailangan, kung gumaganda ba ang sitwasyon o nagiging mas malala. Kaya lagi basta't asahan po ninyo na nandito ang inyong national government, andito ang provincial government, andyan po ang ating mga deputado, both in the 1st District and in the 2nd District, na tumutulong lahat. Ito, nagagawa po namin ito dahil lahat po ng ahensya ng pamahalaan, lahat, pati LGU, mga agencies, mga department, mga agency ng government, ay pinagkaisa namin lahat. At sinabi natin, kailangan lahat ay magtulungan at matulungan natin yung tao ng itong mga kahirapan na dinadaanan ng atin ngayon ay makabawi naman tayo. At sana naman, pagdating ng Pasko, ay mararamdaman na natin na gumaganda na. Hanggat maaari yun, ay tayo ay nandito upang tuloy-tuloy na tumulong. Tinapat na rin namin sa ating pag-celebrate ngayong araw, September 11, ang birthday, 107th birthday ng ating dating Pangulo, ang aking ama, President Ferdinand Edralin Marcos, na ngayon may senior na ang sa pangalan niya. So, I'm very happy na nag-celebrate tayo ng birthday, panangkasangay ti Amma. And that is why we are here today. And this is the way that we celebrate, because pag iniisip po namin, kung buhay pa ang President Marcos Sr., kung buhay pa, ano yung gagawin niya sa birthday niya? Alam ko na, alam naman ninyo, pagka nung siya'y buhay pa, basta't birthday niya, andito siya, at siya'y tumutulong at ulit tinitignan kung kumusta na ang kanyang province. Kaya't naman ako'y gumaya sa kanya. Birthday ngayon niya, susunod ang birthday ko ng 13, iniisip ko, susundin ko lang ang halimbawa ng aking ama. At babalik ako sa Ilocos Norte, makita naman kung kumusta na ang probinsya na aking inalagaan ng 9 na taon. At mabuti naman, it looks like the province is in good hands. So, sana naman itong AKAP na payout na ginawa natin ay makatulong at ito po ay linakan po ng inyong mga liderato. At si Governor at saka si Kong Sandro at saka si Vice Gov ay lagi akong kinukulit. Kaya mahusay itong mga representante ninyo. Dahil hindi ako pinababayaan hanggang makatanggap ng approval. Laging may dalang folder yan. Laging may pupunta sa bahay, makikikain muna, tapos saka magpapapirma ng kung ano-anong folder. Kaya nalaing, diputado tayo. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining us in the celebration. I hope na sana naman itong counting tulong na ibinigay namin ay makapag-celebrate din kayo sa birthday namin ng aking ama.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday led the distribution of assistance to fisherfolk and families in Navotas City that were affected by the oil spill in Bataan Province. The President handed over financial aid amounting to 5,000 pesos each to 10 select beneficiaries from the city and turned over a check worth 43.415 million pesos to the city government of Navotas. Likewise, the Office of House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez distributed 10 kilos of rice to each attendee in the program at the Navotas Sports Complex. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Bukod sa matinding pag-ulan at pagbahang dulot ng sama ng panahon nitong huling bahagi ng Hulyo, nagising tayo sa balita na may ilang barko na lumubog sa karagatan ng Bataan. Hindi lang basta karagatan ang naapektuhan, kundi lalo na ang kabuhayan ng libo-libong mangingisda at ang inyong mga pamilya. Ngunit sa halip na panghinaan ng loob, ang pamahalaan ay agarang kumilos. Mula sa pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga apektadong pamilya hanggang sa pagtugon sa pagtagas ng langis, sa pagtutulungan ng ating mga ahensya, naselyuhan na ng balbula ng MTKR Terranova at nakolekta na ang kulang sa 1,400,000 litro ng langis mula sa ika-19 na Agosto hanggang sa ika-10 nitong buwan na ito na Setyembre. Sa kabila ng mga unos, tulad ng bagyong Enteng na pansamantalang nagpatigil sa siphoning operation, malapit na natin matapos ang trabahong ito. Sa kasalukuyan, ang report sa akin ng Coast Guard at saka kasama yung mga tumutulong sa atin na yun na nga, mga technical na naghigop talaga nung langis. Ika nila, as of yesterday, ang nahihigop na lang nila, wala nang langis. Kung hindi, tubig na lang ang nakikita. So halos tapos na talaga ang operasyon na yan. Pwede na natin ibalik ang ating mga nahuhuli At ang ating huli na ng ating mga mangingisda, pwede na natin ibalik at idala sa ating mga palengke para ipakain sa ating mga pamilya. Sa usapin naman ng investigasyon, tuloy-tuloy ang paghahanap natin ng sagot sa mga katanungan. May kinalaman ba ang barkong ito sa oil smuggling? Bakit ang dalawang barko sa kabila ng walang rehistro ay napatakbo sa ating karagatan? Lahat ito ay iniimbestigahan para tiyakin na papanagutin natin ang mga may sala. Sa gitna ng mga katanungan, may mabuting balita naman tayong hatid. Ligtas nang ihain ang isda at iba pang mga pagkaing dagat sa ating mga lamesa. Sa makatuwid, maayos po ang kalidad ng hangin at tubig sa Nabotas para sa kalusugan ng ating mga kababayan. Sa usapin naman tungkol sa tinatawag na compensation, patuloy na nag-uusap ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno at ang mga may-ari ng barkong Terranova. Sila po ay sasagot sa mga pinsalang dulot ng oil spill. Ang Presidential Assistance to Fisherfolk and Families ay ipamimigay natin sa mahigit na 8,600 apektadong mangingisda sa Nabotas. Ang office naman of the House Speaker ay may handog din na 10 kilong bigas para sa bawat sa inyo na nandito ngayon. Ang tulong na ating ipapamahagi ngayon ay hindi lamang simbolo ng suporta, kundi ng ating panindigan na hindi natin pababayaan ang ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa panahon ng pangangailangan. Batid din namin ang pagsubok na dala ng pagbaha sa inyong lungsod. Kaya naman, nagtulungan ang DPWH, ang MMDA at ang LGU upang agad na maisaayos ang Nabotas Navigational Gate para sa mga organisadong pagdaloy ng tubig, lalo na sa panahon ng tag-ulan at high tide. Kaakibat nito, ipinapatupad din natin ang kalinisan program sa pangunguna ng DILG upang maisulong ang bayanihan tungo sa responsableng pamamahala ng ating kapaligiran na magiging malinis at pamayanang malayo sa banta ng mga sakuna. Mahalagang bahagi ng programang ito ang paghikayat sa mga komunidad na magsagawa ng mga solid waste management intervention at cleanup activity na makatutulong upang mapigilan na maharangan ng mga basura ang ating mga flood control structure, ang ating mga bomba na ginagamit na nababara dahil nga nagkalat ang basura. Kasama ang bawat isa sa inyo, titiyakin natin na ang Nabotas at ang bagong Pilipinas ay patuloy na uunlad. Ang tadhana natin ay hindi nakatali sa trahedya at sa sakuna, kung hindi sa ating kakayahan magtulungan, magkaisa at bumangon mula sa pagsusubok. Sama-sama nating haharapin ang bukas, hindi lamang para malampasan ang unos, kung hindi para umusbong mula rito ang mas matatag at mas handa at anumang hamon ng buhay ay kaya nating harapin. Dahil doon, panayang bati sa akin ng ating butihing mayor at saka ang ating kongresista ay sinasabi, panayang bati sa akin ng happy birthday. Kayo naman, medyo naramdaman ko na birthday ko, baka pagsuspetsahan ninyo ako na pagka-Ilocano ko ay lumalabas na kuripot. Kaya yung ibibigay natin na 5,000, dagdagan na natin, gawin na natin 7,500.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday led the distribution of certificates of condonation and release of mortgage or COCROMs to 1,000 Agrarian Reform Beneficiaries or ARBs from several municipalities in Bulacan Province and the awarding of Certificates of Land Ownership Award or CLOAs to 287 ARBs from Nasugbo, Batangas in a program held at the Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR Gymnasium in Diliman, Quezon City. In his speech, the President said the certificates given equals to over 270 million pesos worth of farmer loans that have been waived. The Chief Executive set an ambitious goal for the administration, aiming to complete the Agrarian Reform Program by 2028 to ensure that beneficiaries can fully utilize their lands. President Marcos shared that over 136,000 land titles have already been distributed nationwide, with an additional 101,000 titles ready for distribution by the end of the year. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Masaya po ako na makasama kayo sa araw na ito upang ipagkaloob ang Certificates of Condonation and Release of Mortgages o yung tinatawag namin COCROM at Certificate of Land Ownership Award o CLOA sa mga benepisyaryo ng reformang pangsakahan. Kaliwat kanan man ang mga pagsubok na hinaharap ng ating bansa nitong nakaraang linggo, patuloy tayong nagsusumikap dahil bilang mga Pilipino, tayo naman ay likas na matatag, masipag at mapamaraan. Kaya narito tayo upang lalo pang pagtibayin ang sektor ng agrikultura at tuparin ang pangarap ng ating mga magsasaka. Inihahatid natin ang tulong na ito sa pamamagitan ng paggawad ng mga COCROM at ng CLOA. Bahagi ito ng ating pagpapatupad ng New Agrarian Emancipation Act na naglalayong pag-anin ang inyong buhay at maibsan ang inyong paghihirap dahil sa amortisasyon, sa interes at iba pang mga surcharges na halos naging kakambal na ng lupang sakahan sa loob ng maraming taon. Masaya kong ibinabalita sa araw na ito ay ibibigay natin ang mahigit na 1,100 sertipiko at sa 1,000 benepisyaryo mula sa iba't ibang bayan ng Bulacan. Ito ay katumbas ng higit 270 milyong piso na halaga ng utang ng mga magsasaka ng ating mga ating napawalang bisa na. Nangangahulugan na ang benepisyaryo ng programang ito ay lalaya mula sa pagkakautang ng lupaing inyong pinangangalagaan. Higit po yan, halos 300 benepisyaryo din mula sa Nasugbo, Batangas ang makakatanggap ng kani-kanilang CLOA ngayong araw. Ang mga titulong ito ay may saklaw naman na mahigit 230 hektarya na lupaing pangsaka. Ikinalulugod ko na ihatid sa inyo na ang COCROM at CLOA ay ilan lamang sa mga mahalagang programa ng ating administrasyon sa pangunguna ng ating Department of Agrarian Reform na pinamumunuhan nga ng ating Secretary Conrad Estrella na ipinagdiriwang, nakasulat dito yung bilang ng birthday mo, hindi ko na babanggitin. Alam mo, pagka dumating po kayo sa ganitong klaseng dito sa istasyon ng buhay namin, hindi na po pinag-uusapan yung edad. Congratulations na lang at saka happy birthday. Kaya talagang masasabi namin dalawa na labor of love talaga namin ni Secretary Conrad ang reformang agraryo. Dahil ito'y nagsimula sa administrasyon ng aking ama kung saan ang lolo naman ni Secretary Conrad ang pinuno ng DAR. At lalo pang napatunayan ni Secretary Conrad ang pagmamahal niya sa mga magsasaka dahil sa halip na mag-birthday leave, nandito po siya para makasama tayong lahat. Kaya naman po, sa ilalim din ng administrasyon na ito, na si Secretary Conrad ang puno ng DAR, ating sinisikap na makumpleto ang reformang pang-agraryo sa taong 2028 upang mapakinabangan na ng lahat ng mga benepisyaryo ang lupang sakahan. Ayon sa pinakahuling datos ng DAR, umabot na sa mahigit 136,000 titulo ng lupa ang naipamahagi sa mga benepisyaryo sa buong bansa. Mahigit 100,000 titulo na nakahanda na ring ipamigay bago matapos ang taong ito. Bagamat ang Kukrum at CLOA ay may tuturing na biyaya, huwag sana natin kalimutan na ito ay may kaakibat na responsibilidad. Ang alagaan at palaguin ang ating mga sakahan at hanap buhay. Alam ko sa mga nakaraang taon, marami kayong naisakripisyo sa ngalan ng pag-uunlad at pagginhawa. Kaya hinahangad ko ng administrasyon ko na ang inyong naipon na sana ay ipambabayad sa lupa ay inyong ngayon magagamit para sa ibang bagay na makakatulong sa inyong mga kinabukasan. Makakaasa kayo na narito. Makakaasa po kayo na nandito ang buong pamahalaan upang umagapay sa inyo at tumugon sa mga pangangailangan ng sambayanan. Magsilbing nawang hudyat ang araw na ito para sa inyong unang hakbang tungo sa kasaganahan. Sabay-sabay tayong maglalakbay tungo sa inaasam nating mas mapayapa, mas masaganang bagong Pilipinas. Muli, ibabatiin po natin maligayang kaarawan, Secretary Conrad Estrella. Ang katotohanan po nito, kaya po siya nandito, ay sinusubukan niya baka makalimutan natin yung birthday niya para hindi na-counted. Sorry na lang, nandyan sa namin, alam namin lahat yung birthday mo, kaya hindi ka nakakaligtas. Ako nga, matagal ko nang gustong hindi, kahit presidente pala, hindi ma-exempt sa birthday. So, kahit anong gawin natin, talagang pumapatak talaga yung bilang ng ating mga edad. Ngunit tunay na nakakatuwa na maging sa iyong pagdiriwang dito ay handang tumulong, maglingkod at umagapay sa bawat Pilipino ang inyong pamahalaan.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday honored the exemplary performance of Filipino para-athletes who participated in the recently concluded Paris 2024 Paralympic Games during a meet and greet at the President's Hall in Malacañang Palace. Together with First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos and the rest of the First Family, the President awarded 1 million pesos in cash incentive and presidential citation to each of the 6 Paralympians. The Philippine delegation is composed of para-archer Agustina Bantilok, para-taekwondo jin Alain Ganapin, para-wheelchair racer Gerald Mangliwan, para-javelin thrower Sandy Asusano, and para-swimmers Angel Autumn and Ernie Gawilan. Meanwhile, President Marcos Jr. received Miss Jillian Akiko Thompson Guevara, National President and Chairperson of the Special Olympics Pilipinas, in a courtesy call at the study room in Malacañang Palace. Last August, Akiko Thompson was awarded with the Olympian for Life by the World Olympians Association for bringing joy to children through sports and physical activities. She is also notable for advocating the rights of persons with disabilities or PWDs. She is just one of only 5 people worldwide who received the prestigious award in this year's Olympics in Paris, France.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the launching and ceremonial turnover of the Asian Development Bank or ADB Philippines Country Partnership Strategy or CPS for 2024 to 2029 in a ceremony at the Heroes Hall in Malacañang Palace on Thursday. The newly launched CPS serves as a transformative agenda for the country over the next 6 years as the government continues to implement programs aimed at building a more prosperous, inclusive, and climate-resilient future for all Filipinos, especially the vulnerable across the nation. Anchored in the long-standing partnership between the Philippines and ADB, the CPS focuses on 3 critical areas and priorities to ensure inclusive growth for the country. These include strengthening human development, boosting economic cooperation and quality infrastructure, and scaling up nature-based development and disaster resilience. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It's a great pleasure to be here today to receive the ADB Philippines Country Partnership Strategy for 2024 to 2029. For almost 6 decades, the ADB has been a reliable partner in Philippine development. With almost $9 billion in net commitment for the Philippines as of mid-2024, it is the country's top multilateral development partner and second largest source of official development assistance. However, I do not wish to look at this partnership in terms just of years or in figures and numbers. We are often bound by the familiar metrics of life. We count the hours of work, tracking our savings, measuring progress in ways that fit neatly into formulae and spreadsheets. Yet, in this pivotal moment, we are called to redefine what truly matters. The real value we must measure goes far beyond the simply immediately tangible, beyond numbers. It lies in the opportunities that we create for the next generation to thrive, not just to learn, but to envision brighter futures. It is not just about giving our fellow Filipinos access to social services, but ensuring that they are able to realize their full potential. It is not just about providing our commuters with better transportation, but giving them comfort and seamless connectivity and better efficiency. It is not just about equipping farmers and fisherfolk with tools, but with knowledge and resilience to secure a better livelihood for themselves, for their families, for the future. These are the markers of genuine progress, the outcomes that go beyond financial returns. These benchmarks of progress represent the real wealth of a nation and the heart of the CSP 2024 to 2029. Reflecting on the ADB's 2018 to 2023 strategy, we see a story of real impact. The substantial investments in healthcare, business recovery, and agriculture do not just fund projects. It changes lives. This is not just about adding numbers to a balance sheet. It's giving families access to life-saving healthcare, reviving businesses and dreams, empowering farmers to turn their hard work into prosperity. Thanks to the ADB, we are not just talking about progress, we are now on the path to achieving it. Your contributions have turned hope into reality and made a profound difference in countless lives here in the Philippines. For that, we are very grateful. If there is one thing that we have learned, it is that with one vision and with determination, aspirations can become remarkable achievements. The new CPS for 2024 to 2029
tells us that growth means more than just numbers. Picture an economy growing at 6% annually, over 6% annually, where growth translates into real benefits for everyday Filipinos. Imagine smoother commutes that give you back precious hours, schools that open doors to opportunities for children, and a healthcare system that ensures that every family can access the care that they need. This strategy is about turning lofty goals such as those into tangible improvements in the daily lives of our people. Today, we are not just talking about progress. We are delivering it with clear, impactful actions. For example, the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge is not just a bridge. It is an enormous bridge, a long bridge, but it's not just that. It provides a vital link that will make your travels quicker, will boost local economies, and thereby providing greater opportunities for the communities that it serves. Our focus on renewable energy and climate solutions shows that we are serious about protecting our planet while fostering growth. This point has become particularly important as today we have been apprised of the unfortunate news that the Philippines once again has the dubious privilege of being the most vulnerable country in the world when it comes to climate change and the effects of climate change. That is the new list that the World Risk Index has just released. So we must support private sector innovation. We must create jobs and opportunities for all with an eye to the sustainability and with an eye for our resilience as we face these new challenges. So under this new strategy, the ADB is not simply supporting projects, but it is laying the groundwork for a better future. As beautiful as our country is, it's highly vulnerable to climate change, natural hazards which threaten to cause significant damage to our livelihoods and our families. With annual economic losses due to climate change exposure potentially reaching 7.6% of GDP by 2030, it is a critical challenge. And I note in the quick video that we saw that a good deal of attention is being focused on climate change issues. ADB's commitment to low-carbon transport, renewable energy, resilient coastal development is about crafting a legacy of sustainability and of resilience. Initiatives like the Integrated Flood Resilience and Adaptation Project represents a profound shift towards meaningful impact, ensuring our growth translates into tangible improvements and a more secure future for all. So as we mark today's event, let us remember that the ADB's commitment of over $12 billion for the next 3 years is a precious vote of confidence in our shared vision for a brighter and better Bagong Pilipinas. The task before us is clear. We must turn this generous backing into meaningful outcomes, better social services, improved infrastructure, and a more resilient economy. With this partnership, we have a unique opportunity to redefine what is possible and set a new standard for excellence and inclusivity. Let us move forward with unwavering resolve, knowing that the journey ahead is not just about meeting expectations, but about surpassing them and setting new benchmarks for success. Let us turn this vision into reality and show the world what it truly means to live in the Bagong Pilipinas. Together, let us seize this moment, not just to dream, but let us deliver.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos on Friday greeted her husband, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., on his 67th birthday on September 13th. In a social media post, the First Lady said she is proud of everything that the President has accomplished, and through it all, he has remained the same tender-hearted, compassionate person who first captured her heart. The First Lady said she loves him to the moon and back and always will. Meanwhile, in line with the Chief Executive's birthday celebration, the Office of the President, or OP, continued with its distribution of free food at the Kalayaan grounds of Malacañang Palace. According to the OP, the 5-day free food distribution started last Monday with 4,000 people served, 2,000 last Tuesday, 1,500 on Wednesday, and 4,000 more on Thursday. And on the day of the President's birthday, 10,000 people received free food from chicken, spaghetti, and burger from popular fast food chains, and barbecue, lechong manok, chicharon, mamon, juice, among others.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, as Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. celebrates his 67th birthday on Friday, the President led the launching of the Department of Agriculture or DA's Agri-Puhunan at Pantawid program at the Our Lady of Sacred Heart Gymnasium in the municipality of Gimba, Nueva Ecija Province. Agri-Puhunan at Pantawid program is designed to support rice farmers by providing them with financial assistance to finance their farming needs and monthly expenses while waiting for harvest. This is the latest credit program of the DA in partnership with the Development Bank of the Philippines or DBP, aimed at improving the productivity of irrigated farmlands. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Mas lalo pong gumaganda ang araw na ito dahil sa mainit inyong pagtanggap sa akin. Mula pa dun sa pinaglandingan namin ay nakita ko at naramdaman po namin, kami naramdaman po namin ay napakainit ng inyong silubong. Alam niyo po, napaka-espesyal ng araw na ito para sa akin at lalo naging espesyal dahil kapiling ko po kayong lahat. Kapiling ko kayo ang ating magigiting na magsasaka na isa sa mga haligi ng ating lipunan. Kayo ang bumubuhay sa ating bayan. Sa inyo nagmumula ang ating kasaganahan. Sa inyo mga kamay, nakasalalay ang seguridad ng pagkain ng ating bansa. Nararapat lamang na gunitain natin at kilalanin natin ang inyong kabayanihan at bigyan pugay ang inyong walang kapantay na kahusayan at kasipagan. Batid ko na sa kabila ng mga programa ng pamahalaan, marami pa rin ang nahihirapan kaya't napipilitan kayong lumapit sa mga pahiramang na may mataas na interes para lang makabili ng binhi, ng abono, ng pesticide. Kaya naman, sa pangunguna ng kagawaran ng agrikultura, kasama ang Development Bank of the Philippines, ang DBP, at ang Planters Products Incorporated, inilulunsad natin sa araw na ito ang Agri-Puhunan at Pantawid Program. Sa tulong ng programang na ito, ang bawat magsasaka ay makakatanggap ng tinatawag na Interventions Monitoring Card o IMC, meron na rin ako niyan, na magagamit sa pagbili ng binhi, ng abono at iba pang kagamitan sa pagsasaka mula sa accredited merchants. Wala nang pangambang maluloko sa presyo, wala nang alalahanin sa kakulangan ng pondo. Bukod dito, bibigyan din namin kayo ng 32,000 piso tulong pantawid na ipapamahagi sa 8,000 ipapamahagi ang 8,000 piso tuwing unang linggo sa loob na 4 na buwan. Layunin natin na matugunan ang ilang mga pangangailangan ng inyong pamilya habang kayo ay nag-aantay sa pagtubo ng inyong mga pananim. At pagdating naman ng anihan, ang National Food Authority ang tutulong sa pagbili ng 5 tonelada o 100 sako ng palay sa presyong hindi bababa sa 21 piso kada kilo. Ang kikitain ninyo sa 1 hektarya ay maaaring umabot sa 105,000 piso na tiyak na papasok agad sa inyong mga IMC. Magsilbisa ng puhunan ang programang ito sa pagbuo ninyo ng inyong pangangarap. Hangad namin na matulungan kayo sa pagtahak sa bagong landas tungo sa isang maunlad na bukas para sa inyo at sa bayan. Nandito lang po ang pamahalaan at nakikinig kami sa inyong mga daing. Ito po ang laman ng isip namin mula paggising hanggang sa pagtulog kung paano kayo matutulungan. Layunin namin na maihatid sa lahat ng Pilipino ang lahat ng serbisyo ng pamahalaan na makakatulong upang makapagsimula kayo ng kabuhayan, magkaroon ng edukasyon at magkaroon ng mabuting kalusugan. Kaya natutuwa po ako na dahil sa dinami-dami ng pwedeng ipagdiwang sa araw na ito, ang pinaka-espesyal ay ang pagkakataon na maglilingkod sa bawat Pilipino at mailapit ang gobyerno sa taong bayan. Kaya po, kasabay ng ating programa ngayon, sa buong bansa ay sabay-sabay na naghahandog ang ating pamahalaan, katuwang ang mga lokal na pamahalaan ng mga sari-saring serbisyo. Sa ilalim ng ating handog ng Pangulo, Serbisyo Sapat para sa Lahat, nagsasagawa tayo ng kadiwa para makabili kayo ng bigas at iba pang produktong agrikultura na sa mas murang halaga. Mamamahagi din tayo ng bini, fertilizer at iba pang assistance at magbibigay ng tulong pinansyal sa ilalim ng Sustainable Livelihood Program ng TUPAD at iba pang mga suporta. Mayroon din po tayong job fair para sa mga naghahanap ng trabaho at government internship program. Magbibigay din po tayo ng scholarship at saka toolkit at magsasagawa ng skills demonstration sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa. Mag-aalok din tayo ng mga slot para pwedeng gamitin ng ating mga mag-aaral at yung magte-training, magamit nila yan sa TVET. Ang lahat ng ito ay naglalayong bigyan ng bawat Pilipino ng bagong pagkakataon upang magtagumpay. Hindi pa po nagtatapos dito. Layunin din po namin na matulungan ang ating mga kababayan na may pangangailangan medikal. Kaya po, sa araw na ito, sasagutin po natin ang lahat ng bayarin ng mga pasyente sa lahat ng pampublikong Level 3 hospital sa bansa. Katulad ng Dr. Paulino Garcia Memorial Hospital dito sa inyo, magkakaroon din po tayo ng mga mini trade fair, business counseling, at entrepreneurial training upang matulungan na magsimula ang ating mga nagbabalak na maging negosyante. Tunay nga na ang araw na ito ay hindi lamang tungkol sa pagdiriwang kundi sa pagbibigay ng bagong simula at tunay na pagbabago sa buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Kaya po ako mismo ang pumupunta rito, hindi lamang para makapagbigay at ipakita na ang aming mga programa, aming mga proyekto at magbigay ng tulong sa ating mga magsasaka. At ngunit hindi lamang yun ang aking sadya. Ako'y pumupunta pagka meron tayong pong mga ganitong klaseng event. Pumupunta po ako dahil naririnig ko mula sa inyong mga leader, mula sa inyong mga congressman, si Mayor, lahat naririnig namin kung ano ba talaga ang pangangailangan. Bagong pagpasok pa lang namin, may narinig na kaming request na may kailangan daw na tulay doon sa Santa Ana. Basit lang. Okay. Approve! Hindi. Adapay. Ilagay na instruction ko kay Secretary Estrella. Isama niya sa bridge building program ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Meron pong programang ganun. Isama na rin po dahil tulay sa Santa Ana. Kaya masarap itong birthday ko. Hindi lang ako maraming regalo. Marami rin din ako nairegalo. Ito yung blowout ng lahat ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon na maging masagana ang kanilang pamumuhay. Kaya naman, hinahangad kong mag-uumapaw sa inyo hindi lamang ang pag-asa, kundi pati na ang tiwala at pananampalataya na tayo ay magkakaroon ng matatag na kinabukasan. Sama-sama nating itaguyod ang isang bansang puno ng pag-asa, biyaya at kaginhawaan. At pagkat naabot natin ito, aabutin po natin dahil tayo ay nagkaisa, dahil tayo ay nagmamahal sa bawat isang Pilipino, dahil tayo ay nagtulungan. Yan po ang magiging bagong Pilipinas.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.